Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome to 2023. New year, new twist in the tale of the OpTic saga. The last several days we've talked about plenty of rumours, some of which more substantiated than others, but it now seems a realistic possibility that OpTic might be forced to run it back again for the second time in the series of a few months with Dashy after dropping him initially. So much to dive into today. Very much enjoy your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thanks very much indeed for doing that one. Cracking year we had in 2022, we're going to do it all over again and even better going forward. First of all, on these, I don't know what they call them anymore, like hash flags or something like that. Basically, the idea is that you type in a certain thing and it comes up with some sort of logo at the end. So Vegas Legion have finally got their level up thing confirmed. I don't know if they came up with this themselves or they saw it on Reddit, because when it was first rumored that Legion were moving to Las Vegas, people came up with this whole level up thing. Las Vegas Legion is pretty good, to be honest, and they've officially applied and got it approved and all this type of stuff. Now, FaZe have got one approved as well. Now, this just reminds me of like some of these American like soccer fan chants, but apparently Atlanta is known as the A, so they've got hashtag we the A Atlanta FaZe. Like, I don't know about that one, but you know, each to their own, I suppose. Now, in fairness, they've also still got Easy AF, so you know, that also does the same thing with the Atlanta FaZe logo, but I'm not sure about this one, to be honest. Now, the other funny one was for the C-Men, right, for the Mutineers, because, you know, we know Mutineers as a brand and as a social media, they're, you know, a little bit on the edge, right, in terms of what's, let's just say, acceptable within social media marketing and this type of stuff. So apparently they tried to have hashtag C-Men, but that unfortunately got denied. And I think maybe the same thing with the Overwatch League team, actually. Chrome went on to say here, they had hashtag bricked up for their OWL team, but unfortunately it got taken away. So unfortunately these hash flags or these hashtags don't give you the little flag emoji thing for their logo, but maybe they can work with Elon to get it sorted out. I don't really know what the plan is there, but nonetheless, two quick updates for you guys if you want to tweet out hashtag we the A on Twitter when FaZe win a series. Not sure if that's going to be worth it. Let's talk about OpTic then. It was 10 years ago yesterday now that that incredible event occurred where Scump, Nade, Merc and Big T won the opener of Black Ops 2 at Chicago. That was when, of course, Aches and the Nade shot the push drama that really kicked off and sparked, as Brian Stat says, the start of some of the rivalries and the dramas in Call of Duty, and that really carried through the entire Black Ops 2 into the Ghost season. When Activision started to take note of this as an esports, this was one of the defining and key moments. That was OpTic at the time, and well, 10 or so years later, they still don't really have a roster going into the new year. So, of course, Bean says, you know, clinking the glasses here with Scump. Now, look, Boston Beans to OpTic isn't going to happen, but nonetheless, there is a current rumor going around that OpTic have basically run out of options with their pro counterparts, at least in terms of getting a professional player onto the team, an experienced, tenured pro. Those are the type of players that OpTic want to get. They don't really want to bring in a challengers guy for Scumps last year. You can understand it, but apparently because they don't want to go to challenges, they've now run incredibly dry on options from the professional scene, and you know, not getting beans that might come back to haunt them, who knows. So firstly, just on Formal, we saw yesterday, okay, is there any chance, is there a 0.1% chance that Formal leaves Halo to come back to Call of Duty? Of course, Lucid talking about 2022, Formal says on to 2023, so yeah, more than likely Formal's going to stay on the OpTic Halo team that did just win the World Championship, so not really a massive surprise there. Now, this is the key talking point of last night coming out of Dashy. So once again, the OpTic guys are back in there, well, maybe not OpTic guys anymore in Dashy's case, they're back in their like anime GIF timeline type thing. So Dashy tweets this out last night. Now look, I'm not an expert on anime or anime GIF, so I don't exactly know what this refers to or who this character is, but I did Google it, so I'll show you guys in a second. But anyway, Dashy's got this kind of like smirking thing going on. So what does this mean? Does this mean, oh, like, you know, basically I'm coming for revenge type thing? That's kind of what it looks like to me. I look at this and I'm thinking, okay, this guy's like, you know, they thought they got me, but, you know, I've got something up my sleeve type thing. I'm coming back for the gunning. I don't really know what it is meant for this exactly, but I Googled it anyway. So I screenshotted it and did the kind of Google search thing. And Google told me it was a hide my pain with a smile anime GIF, which is not really what I get from actually watching the thing. But, I mean, okay, that's one interpretation of it. Then if you actually look up who the character is, Kosuke Kira, it seems. It's funny, if you Google this, you actually find Dashy's tweet here. So that was the actual name of the GIF, Kosuke Kira smirk GIF. So there you go. Now, Formal reckons that Dashy's got no idea who this character even is or what this could potentially mean. So I don't really think he's reading into it all this much that we're potentially looking into it as. And of course, as Ronnie talks about the fact that apparently this character killed his father in the anime. So, you know, maybe that's what Dashy's thinking about. I personally don't think that Dashy's really looking into it that deep. But, you know, what are the two options here? here. One of the two options is that Dashy has been dropped, and in fairness, all his, OpTic Dashy is out of his name now. He's changed his bio a while ago. To be fair, he never changed it back to OpTic after he got dropped in the summer. But, still, Dashy off OpTic is, like, this isn't a bait, right? We even know, and I'll show you guys a tweet in a second here from Arcitys that confirms that Dashy was dropped and they were looking for a move. But over the last few days, there hasn't really been any, solid rumours coming out about who their fourth is going to be, if they're going to make any serious changes to the team. And therefore, we've asked the question, is that because they've found the leak in their camp and they're keeping things under wraps and they are making moves? Or is it because they just aren't making any moves? They don't have anyone to get, they can't get any deals done. And with only a couple of weeks to go now, because today's Sunday and then in 2 weeks on the Friday, basically, that's when the season starts up again for all the teams. Now, in fairness, some of the teams are taking a couple of days off practice, but they're going to get back into it over the coming days. Obviously, you have to do something relatively quickly. We know that, Guerrillas, and we know that London have made a change, we believe, even though you're not yet confirmed, and they're getting back into practice. Well, okay, the London guys can't because Nasty's still stuck in the UK with visa issues, so that's not an ideal development for them either. But obviously, you have to get started relatively soon. And is this delay because they haven't made any changes, or is it because they've kept things solidly under wraps? So either Dashy's tweeting this as in, look, I'm coming for revenge. Maybe he's even feel like he's got a spot on a new team, right? Because maybe there's a team that wants to give him an offer now, but more than likely he's going to have to at least ride the bench for one stage before he gets a chance after stage 2. So either that's the possibility, or what he's saying is, like, they wanted me back type thing. Now, this is the question if you guys are Dashy. Would you, let's say OpTic said, you know what, Dashy, apologies, we couldn't find a replacement, because it's quite obvious they wanted to drop him, but they wanted to replace him. But if they can't find a good replacement in whatever role that might be, then, all right, Dashy, can you maybe come back again? Like, if you guys were in his shoes, what would you do? Because you can either just refuse and say, look, screw you guys, I'm running it back because we're not going to achieve anything, and the team is ultra chalked if that was to happen. Even if it wasn't chalked already, it's definitely chalked now if Dashy returns again. But if you don't play if you're Dashy, then, do you restrict your possibilities in the future? Is it better just to come back, win the potential prize money, maybe just prove yourself to another team when you do eventually get dropped for the third time? Because I doubt this is going to be a third time lucky situation where they can run it back again and it still somehow works. Like, there's no way that's going to happen. And even as Formal says here in the replies, I had to call him out here because there's no way Dashy has any idea what this means. So, either this is coming for revenge, or this could potentially be, look, the OpTic guys wanted me back and I'm smirking because either I've got something up my sleeve and I'm going to return, or I'm not going to do that at all and I'm just going to take the mick and sit on the bench and force them to play with Rambo Ray in the team. I don't really know. But, who knows what's happening here? It's just an interesting timing of this, especially because Zuma said on stream last night. Now, in fairness, Zuma, what he says on stream isn't necessarily fully accurate, just because he said a couple of days ago that, oh yeah, it looks like OpTic Beans is going to happen. Obviously, that didn't happen. But from his understanding, this is the case. And I tried to find a clip of this, and I looked into, all his clips from the last 24 hours on his broadcast, but I couldn't find anything where he said this. So I just got to take this guy's word for it, but I don't think he's going to be lying about this. So, basically what he said was, we believe that OpTic are too afraid to gamble on a Challengers player, and therefore they want an established pro. It makes sense, right? But apparently that's not possible, which I kind of refuse to believe fully, because I'm sure there's some pro they could get, right? But, they probably couldn't get the guys they wanted to get. To me, it's could they get a seam? Because if I was the GM of OpTic, I would very much consider a seam right now as kind of look, that's going to be a potential fix, at least for the short term. And, London aren't really going to be holding on to a seam for dear life. I mean, okay, they want to keep a seam for sure, but nonetheless, they could, I'm sure OpTic could get that deal done. It's not like OpTic have money bags necessarily like Los Angeles Guerrillas have, and therefore they're not going to get rid of Arcitys. They probably could have got a seam, I would say. I don't know the contracts, but I'm just theorizing here. So maybe the story really is more okay, they couldn't get any pros that they actually wanted to join. And I'm not saying a seam would have been acquirable, but seems more acquirable than a Pred or an Arcitys, let's just say, for example. And then he says they might run it back again. So, I mean, look, there was no way, surely, that doing this for the third time is going to work. I wonder how, Dashy would surely feel massively disrespected at having been dropped twice in a matter of months. And maybe that gif is basically implying that, look, they asked me to come back, and I ain't doing it, right? They can play with Ray, they can bring in some player, I don't really know. So, yeah, bit of a mess. But at the same time, Dashy, I'm sure he doesn't want to completely torch those relationships. I don't know, it's a really messy situation. Clearly not been handled well, I would say, because we still don't really know what they're planning to do. But the rumor is that there's a decent chance, maybe even a 50% chance, that they're going to run it back yet again. Which seems, again, like kicking the can down the road. When they ran it back for the first time in the summer, it was okay, maybe they had some disagreements and maybe they can make it work, but it was quite obvious, I thought, that after one bad result, the team wasn't going to be staying around particularly long this season. That's obviously exactly what occurred. But, if you run it back again and kick the can down the road again, you're only waiting for a terrible performance at stage 2, and then you've got to blow it up anyway. So, I mean, look, look, in fairness, there probably will be many more teams blowing it up, you could argue, after stage 2 than there will be now, just because after Major 2, there's a very solid chance that a lot of these teams have had a bad performance, and in order to prepare for champs, they've got to change things around. So Major 2 might be a better time to change anyway, but, you know, you're effectively just chalking up the stage, surely, by bringing Dashy back now and running it back with that 4-man team. Now, also worthy of note was this from last night, I believe, where Dashy was actually spotted playing a couple of series of 8s here. Now, Dashy doesn't play 8s, really, to my knowledge. I think this is a pretty rare thing for Dashy to hop into an 8s lobby. He has, of course, done in the past. Pick up games between the pros is basically what this is. For a bit of fun, they used to put money on the line. Not really sure they're allowed to do that anymore, but, you know, maybe they do behind the scenes or something. So still, Dashy was obviously having a good time in these matches. So what does this mean, right? Does this mean, like, you know, he's finally turned a corner and he's more committed, putting in more time, the work ethic is back in business? Because, you know, we've talked about that before, but it doesn't seem to last all that long usually. Or does this mean that Dashy has been dropped and now he's prepping for his revenge and going to join a new team and going to take all that passion and fire and willingness to beat OpTic into his new adventure on a new team? Whether that's even possible, I don't know. But yeah, nonetheless, Dashy being spotted in 8 is interesting, because maybe OpTic were like, yeah, you can come back, but we're only going to let you back if you really put in a shift this time. But it's like, they told you that before and it didn't work out. But surely the relationship between Dashy and Rambo, and even Dashy and Shotzzy, can't be looking so strong right now. But yeah, I don't know. Intrigued your thoughts in the comment section below. Tough to interpret exactly where this one is going to go, but nonetheless, it's pretty tricky for OpTic to come up with a reasonable solution to this problem. And just I thought it was pretty funny. You guys might remember a couple of years ago now in the Cold War season it was, when Envoy and Dashy and maybe Formal, they were tweeting out all these anime gifs. And it was kind of, they were in their villain arc type thing, the anime gif arc, and then they got bodied in that FaZe series, you guys might remember. I think that was the series where they were on the FaZe host, or there was like the Atlanta host, and it was like Envoy had replied to an email or not replied, or there was some drama like that. And I mean, yeah, they had a pretty rough showing that time around. So maybe the anime gifs for the OpTic guys is not necessarily the way to go. And just to confirm this also for you guys, if you hadn't seen this tweet from about a week ago, where Arcitys said that he wanted to join those 3, but it's not how it works for contracts. So this is the kind of the seminal tweet here that confirms that indeed OpTic were looking to make a change. They did want to bring Arcitys in, but it couldn't work out for contracts. So if OpTic do run it back, they can't pretend that this is just a bait situation, because that has been confirmed from many different sources. But yeah, very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Welcome to the new year. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you are new. Take care, and I will see you next time.